Hi everybody, it's Sinead at Yoga Furie. Welcome to today's yoga practice. Today, this is all about putting aside half an hour for yourself to de-stress and feel better again, re-energize, and yeah, turn your day around if it needs turning around. So yeah, this is a half hour for you. So let's start in a comfortable seated position. Oh, just to let you know, I'm going to be demoing with yoga bricks at some point. They're not essential. They're really useful if you find that you've got quite tight hamstrings and need a bit of help in forward folds. But you can always use books and stuff instead. So yeah. So let's find a comfortable seated position. For some of us, it might be cross-legged. Some of us, that might feel a bit weird, and you might prefer to have your legs out long or come to kneeling. And we'll start with a short, very short meditation practice. So let your hands rest on your lap. And then when you feel comfortable to, allow your eyes to close. And begin by noticing what's on your mind. What's on your mind right now, and what's been on your mind so far today. And it's really useful to acknowledge the importance of all of that stuff. And then start to turn your attention inwards. And you can soften around the eyes and soften at the jaw, so the face begins to relax. And you notice your sit bones resting into the support beneath you. And you can feel that the tailbone drops just a little, and that you can create more length and lift up through your spine. And then begin to take your attention even deeper still. Start to feel into your organ body. Feel into the squishiness of where your stomach is. And then feel into the center of your chest. Can you feel the movement of your heart? And then can you feel the movement of your breath? And then allow your breath to become much deeper. So take a long, easy, full breath in. And climb your inhale all the way up to the top of the breath. So you feel very full. And then slowly exhale and allow all of that breath to release at a gentle pace. A few more times. Just a big, deep, long inhale that climbs all the way up the spine and opens up into the torso. And you might be holding on at the top of the inhale. And then feel yourself release as you exhale and slowly let the breath go once more. We'll do that one more time. A slow, deep, full, long inhale that climbs all the way up. And it's almost like you hold on to the tension at the top. You hold on to all of that energy. And then let it release with your exhale. And as you do, you feel your sit bones become heavier, your spine stays long, and your face relaxes once more. So now we're dissolving the hard edges, right? And we'll dissolve them even more with some movement. So when you feel ready to, just begin to gently open your eyes. Now you can take in the light and the surroundings around you. Then we're going to get our left hand and bring it next to the left side hip and simply lift the right arm up and reach the right arm over to the left side. Now remember when we were sat in our meditation, we felt long in the spine. So stay long in the spine here. You feel an uplift of the breastbone. But of course, the trunk is flexing off to the left side and it's creating space for you to swell your breath into the right. So it's a couple of rounds of breath. And allowing the space to move into the right side chest, as if you could only breathe into your right lung. And then as you feel ready, let's let that soften off. Come back to upright. And let's go with the other side. So now right hand next to right side hip. Left arm simply lifts up and then reaches over to right side. And even with a movement as simple as this, you might feel the difference from side to side. So the left side might feel more open or more difficult to open. So you're allowing your breath to swell into the left side chest and into the left side waist. And then as you're ready to, let's come back to the center. Back to upright. Great. Let's find our way into all fours position on the mat. So you've got your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. And let's find a bit more spinal movement before we make movements bigger. So as you inhale, start to curl the tailbone up and lift the chest. Look straight ahead of you or ever so slightly up without jarring the neck backwards. And then exhale, there's a deep round of the spine. Big squeezing of the belly muscles as you push the ground away and separate the shoulder blades. And again, inhale, we're going to lift the tail, lift the chest. And then exhale, push the ground away, belly muscles draw in, spine rounds. One more time, breathe in. And breathe out. When you find your inhale, come to spinal neutral. So it kind of looks like you've got a flat back. Tuck your toes behind you and then begin to lift your knees and send your heels back. So your legs become long, your shoulders are still over your wrists, and you found yourself in plank position. Have a look down at your hands, spread the fingers, press through the inner edges of both the palms, so you're pressing down through the bases of the index fingers. And the longer that you hold this, the more likely you are to feel challenged by it. So breathe deep, breathe big, and focus in on the parts of the body that are sending messages of experience. Maybe it's heat, maybe it's an onset of plank fatigue. I'm going to take one more deep breath in here. And then when you find your exhale, gently land your knees and then slowly lower the chest down and then let the hips land too. We'll start off with a gentle back bend. So we've got elbows underneath the shoulders, palms in front. Root down through the tops of the feet. Press the pubic bone into the mat. And then as you inhale, you feel the chest lift. So you've got this engagement at the belly. The engagement that you found at the belly in your plank, you're going to draw those muscles in and up again. So you feel that you're supported in the lower back, and any movement in the back bend comes through the middle and upper spine. One more deep breath in. Exhale, let's soften down. So this is the tricky bit if you're not used to certain yoga type moves. You're going to have your hands underneath your shoulders. Tuck your toes and hop your knees forward so your bum is in the air. Now see if you can keep your bum in the air. Brush your elbows past your ribs as you press your way up to all fours. Toes are tucked and then hips lift up and back. So we have found our way into our first down dog, which can be really stretchy in quite a lot of places, just depending on how you're built and how you move. So start to bend one knee at a time, sway the hips, and as you bend your right knee, you can land your left heel and feel good long stretch all along the left leg, down into the left calf. Do the same with the right, bend the left knee, land the right heel, and allow that stretch to happen all the way along the back of the right leg. Then we'll find our stillness in down dog. Root down through the hands, and as you root through the hands, you feel more length come across the shoulder joints, which lifts the hips up and away. When you're ready to, begin to walk your feet forwards towards your hands. Now, if you're not used to forward folds, this is where bricks are really handy. You can have your hands on bricks underneath the shoulders. Take a breath in, let the chest lift halfway, so you feel like you've got a neutral spine, and then exhale, forward fold. As you breathe in, begin to rise all the way up to standing. Let the hands reach up above the head. Look up at the hands, a big long stretch along the body. And then exhale, we'll bring the hands together in front of the chest. Great. So what we're going to do is some what's known as vinyasas, followed with standing postures each time. So we're standing at the front of the mat. We're going to inhale, rise the arms up, hands touch above the head. And then exhale, forward fold. Hands come to shins. Breathe in, lift the chest halfway. And then exhale, land your hands and step your feet back into plank. So we've been here before. Root down through the hands, send your heels back. Feel engagement deep within the belly that, in fact, it feels like it starts at the pelvic floor. Your inner thighs roll up towards the ceiling. Take one more deep breath in. And then when you find your exhale, land your knees, controlled lower the chest and then the hips to the ground. Now we're going to keep the hands underneath the shoulders, root down through the feet. Inhale, chest begins to lift. Exhale, let the body soften back down. Toes are tucked. This is that weird one again. Knees hop forwards. Keep your bum in the air. See if you can press your way up to all fours. Hips lift up and back. And we're back in down dog. And again, you might want to walk the legs, sway the hips. If you're feeling mega stretchy, just start to move the body around. Give yourself a bit of time to feel into where the body's opening up, where it's warming up. So from down dog, we're going to inhale, pick the right leg up into the air. See if you can pick the right leg up nice and high. And then as you exhale, start to draw the right knee forwards. Land the right foot to the space between the hands. We're going to land the left heel behind. The toes have turned out to the left just a little bit. Keep a bend in the right knee. Inhale, rise the upper body, rise the arms. And we found warrior one. And if you're taking a real interest in yoga and you like your Sanskrit, it's Virabhadrasana one. Back heel has landed still, right? Left toes turn out to the left. The left hip doesn't lean back. In fact, the left hip draws forward, so you feel like your pelvis shines towards the front edge of the mat. Let's take one more round of breath. Nice big inhale. And then when you find your exhale, let your hands land. Step your right foot back into down dog. Let's start to walk the legs again, sway the hips. And let's do that on the other side. So inhale, left leg begins to pick up. And just lift it up as high as it's going to go. Then when you find your exhale, draw the left knee in towards the chest. Land the left foot to the floor. Land your right heel behind. Toes have turned out just a little bit. Front knee is lunging. As you inhale, rise up. And it's warrior one on the other side. Cool. So because you've got your right heel landed, toes turned out a little bit, and your right hip edging forwards, and you've got a bit of an engagement at the belly, you might start to feel that this is opening up into your right hip flexors, right along the front of your hips. So very useful if you're spending a lot of time sitting down currently. Let's take another big breath in. And then when you find your exhale, let your hands land. This time, step your back foot forwards, so you're at the front of the mat. You might have hands on bricks or hands on shins. Inhale, lift the chest halfway, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's rise up, lift all the way up to standing. Let the hands touch above the head, and then exhale, hands come together in front of the chest. Great, let's develop on that. So inhale, let the arms rise up, look up towards the hands. It's still a big stretch on the body. And then exhale, forward fold. Hands come to shins as you breathe in, lift the chest halfway. And then breathe out, land the hands, step the feet back for plank. So we're doing another vinyasa again. And you're strong in plank. Each time we revisit, you feel more and more strong. You can send the heels away, roll the inner thighs up to the ceiling, lift the pelvic floor. Be strong through the depths of your belly and lengthen the breastbone forwards. When you find your next exhale, knees land, chest lands. So we're pressing through the tops of the feet, hands are under the shoulders. We're going to inhale, lift the chest. And what we want is we want the back of the body to be working here. We don't want the arms to be lifting us up. So see if you can just lift your hands off of the ground and maintain the back bend. But then of course you can have the hands there for a little bit extra support. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale, soften. Tuck the toes, hop the knees forwards, keep your bum in the air. Press your way up to all fours. Lift your hips up and back. Cool. So I'm just going to face the other way. You can stay where you are. When you find your next breath in, begin to pick the right leg up. And this time as you pick the right leg up, stack the right hip up high. Lift it up higher than the left. So your pelvis starts to shine out to the right side. You can bend the right knee so the right heel comes towards the left butt cheek. Take a big inhale so you feel spreading across the pelvis. As you exhale, draw the right knee forwards, land the foot to the space between the hands. So again, we're going to land the left heel to the ground. Toes are going to turn all the way out to the left this time. When you find your inhale, windmill your arms up, bring your body to upright, and then sit into your hips. So you've got a lunge at the right knee, you're long at the left leg. Your pelvis is facing off to the side of the mat, and you're looking down your front fingertips. So this is warrior two. Take your attention into your left foot. Root down through the outside edge of the left foot as well as the inner edge of the left foot. Firm up the muscles along the left thigh and feel that there's almost this outward rotation as if the left hip crest wants to fan open, fan off to the left. And then how is your breath moving? When you're gazing down your front fingers, how does this posture feel for you? Warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. One more deep breath in. Exhale, windmill your arms down, land your hands, step your way back into down dog. Again, walk the legs and sway the hips. I'm going to switch sides again, but you can stay where you are. And then as we feel ready to, we're going to pick the left leg up. Lift left leg up nice and high, and this time the hip stacks open. The pelvis spreads open as the left heel draws towards the right butt cheek. And then you take a big breath in, you're holding your weight in this way and opening up across the pelvis. And then when you find your exhale, left foot comes forwards. Land your back heel behind, toes turned out to the right side. Stay bent at the left knee. Inhale, windmill up, warrior two on the other side. Instantly, you're looking down your front fingers. And with your gaze fixed on this point, your awareness draws into where your body's feeling this. Whether you notice it in your legs, in your hips, or in the length of the torso, the spreading at the chest. And then let your breath be really full, really nourishing. Great, when you find your next exhale, let's windmill the arms back down to the ground. We're going to step back foot forwards. So we're at the front of the mat once more. Hands come to shins. Inhale, chest lifts halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we rise up. Hands touch above the head. And then exhale, hands together in front of the chest. Great. So just one more standing routine to practice. So inhale, rise the arms up, big old stretch on the body. And then exhale, forward fold. Hands to shins. Breathe in, lift the chest. Exhale, land the hands and step your way back into plank. Great. You're rooting through the hands. You're sending the heels back. You're squeezing at the belly, feeling the lift at the pelvic floor. You're really engaged. You notice how you firm up the muscles along the arms and you can bear weight down through the hands into the earth below. And that helps you to lift the body up higher from the ground. One more deep breath in. And then when you're ready to lower down, either land knees then chest or try a controlled landing. So the hips don't land first, everything lands at once. This time, bring the arms out further forwards and wider than the shoulders. Land the palms flat, press through the tops of the feet, press through the hands and let the chest lift up. So it's just a different flavor of back bend, right? Now we're using the arms to lift us up. We can find a bit more of a curve at the spine. And by the way, if at any point this doesn't feel good on your back, then it's a really good sign to back off. And it's fine to be a bit lower down to find an arch of the spine that feels good for you, that doesn't feel twingy. So one more big breath in. Exhale, body softens down. Hands under shoulders, toes tuck, knees come forwards, bum stays in the air. Press your way up to all fours, really good. Lift your hips up and back. So inhale, lift the right leg up. Now keep the pelvis level. So last time we picked the right hip up and opened it. Instead, have the right hip in line with the left. So the lift of the right leg just comes through effort at the glutes and a bit from the hammies on the right side. Take a deep breath in, and then when you find your exhale, knee and foot come forwards. Land your foot to the floor. We're going to find a variation of warrior three. So start to walk your hands forwards, and this might be where you want bricks. You have your hands on bricks underneath your shoulders, and you're going to lift your left leg up behind you. If you don't have bricks, you can always, of course, have your hands on the floor. And if it's really hard to reach the floor because the legs aren't that open, then you can definitely have your knee bent, right? So you can adapt it so it works for you. And then we're going to see if we can add to this variation of warrior three. So you've got your left leg lifted behind. Send the heel really far back. Don't have the knee bent. Send it back. Have the leg active. Then see if you can lift the upper body and bring your hands together in front of the chest. So then you're just stood on your right leg. You're balancing. You're staying lifted through the left leg and through the upper body. And we take one more deep breath in. And then when you find your exhale, hands land, left leg lands behind, right leg comes back to meet it. And we just have a little glob and a move around in down dog. So you give yourself a chance to breathe and to soften that off. And the body's feeling really warm now, right? So we can do that on the other side and then begin to chill out and slow down. So when you find your inhale, we're going to lift the left leg up into the air, nice and high. Now we just had the left leg lifted in down dog, in warrior 3. So we know we want to send the left heel back. Then when you find your exhale, step left foot forwards. This might be where you use bricks, hands on bricks. Walk the upper body forwards, lift your back leg up behind. I think I'm about to headbutt my cooker, so I'm just going to shuffle back a little bit. Great, here we are, right? So you could have hands on bricks, you got your right leg lifted, or you might have your hands on the floor. You might have your left knee bent, so it makes it a bit more accessible. And then we're going to see about lifting the hands up from the ground. Just bring the hands together in front of the chest. So you're trying to stay balanced. Yeah, right leg's lifted, chest is lifted, and it's a lot of effort to hold this. So we're just going to do one more very clear round of breath. And then exhale, hands land, right leg steps back, left leg steps back. Bend one knee at a time. Sway the hips. Then land your knees just a little bit wider than the hips. Bring the bases of the big toes to touching. Sit the bum back to the heels. Rest your forehead to the mat. Now you've spent a lot of time building up a lot of energy. And here we're going to let it settle. So have your eyes closed. Stay really present in your body and feel where the energy is settling, where there's held tension that can be released. We're going to very slowly start to walk the hands back through to seated. Cool. And let's sit out long along the mat. I'll face you guys. Gonna bring our legs out long. Now if you're sat here and you've lengthened your legs out long, actually I might show it from the side. If you're sat out here, you've lengthened the legs out long and you feel like, whoa, pelvis rolls back, or it's really, I don't know, kind of like hunched at the chest, then you might need some more height at the pelvis, right? If it's hard to lift the chest up high and be long through the spine, you can always grab one of your bricks or your props and place your bum on it, and that will help. Great, so we're gonna get the right knee and bend it. Heel comes in towards the bum, and we're gonna cross the right foot past the left knee. So now we'll turn to face you. So you got your right foot crossed past the left knee. Gonna inhale, pick the left arm up. And then when we find our exhale, either wrap the left arm around the right leg or cross the left elbow past the right leg. Land your right hand behind. Take a big breath in and be long in the spine. And then feel like you can squeeze through the sideways, so squeeze through the sides of the belly as you turn off to the right side. Have your eyes closed. And notice where you feel this. Do you feel this in the outside of your right hip? Or do you feel this is quite a deep twist through the spine? Do you feel it anywhere else, like in your shoulders or in your legs? And we're going to take one more round of breath. Come back to the center. Let it soften off. Yeah. Let's do the other side. Right leg extends out long. Left knee bends, heel in towards the bum, and then cross left foot past the right knee. So even when you're sat here, you can almost hug the knee into the chest, but it's not really the knee hugging into the chest. As you hug it in, you feel the chest lift up in response, and the spine grows really long. And that's good. We want a nice long spine for the twist. So then when you inhale, you start to pick up your right arm. And then when you exhale, you can wrap the right arm around the left knee. It's really nice if you feel it in the hips. Or you can cross the right elbow past the left knee, which makes it a much deeper twist. Left hand lands behind. Lift up through the spine as you breathe in. And then squeeze through the side waist. Squeeze through the belly. And again, it's just a few deep rounds of breath. Noticing where you feel it. Being really aware of the sensations that are coming up through your body. Listening for moments of feeling good. And moments where you might need to adjust so it does feel good. And what does it feel like to breathe here? Does it feel restricted? Is it possible to find fullness of breath even though you're all twisted up? Let's come back to the center, let it unravel. Great. And release your left leg. Cool. So we're going to come down to lying. We're just going to finish off with one more posture and then we're going to take a rest, because part of de-stressing is definitely having a rest. So let's come down to lying on our backs. And when you're here, draw the heels in towards the hips. So your knees are pointing up. And then bring your hands down by your hips with the palms face down. And roll the shoulders down the back. So then you start to press through the feet. And you feel that when you press through the feet, you can roll the tailbone up. Keep rolling the tailbone up. Roll the lower spine, the middle spine, up, up, up. Until you feel that the chest is lifted. And you've got your weight on the tops of the shoulders. This is known as bridge or Setu Bandhasana. So you're pressing through the feet and the legs are engaged, right? And because the legs are engaged and the feet are engaged, you might feel that the hips lift a little more and that you shuffle onto the tops of the shoulders a little more. And then you can swell the breath into your chest. Breathe and allow the front of the organ body to be open and spacious. And we're just going to be here for one more round of breath. Make it a really full one. When you find your exhale, begin to roll down through the spine, one vertebra at a time. When you get to the bottom, we're going to give the knees a hug into the chest and begin to gently rock side to side. And as you rock side to side, you feel the back of the pelvis is spreading open into the ground and the whole of the back is spreading and resting heavier. And then we find our way into our final posture, our resting posture, Shavasana. So typically legs come out long and you let the feet fall out wide. So there's no muscular control over the legs. Hands come down by the hips, palms face up, and you can shuffle the shoulders down the back a little bit. However, if you're lying like this and it's not mega comfy, then my advice would be to find a lying position that really is comfortable for you, that you know you can settle into. So close your eyes. And notice the parts of the body that are in contact with the floor beneath. So the heels, backs of the legs, buttocks, the shoulders, the arms, the backs of the hands, and the back of your head. And you feel those parts of the body spreading into the earth below. And you feel the front of the body settling back towards the back, towards the earth below. And you allow yourself to drift off into rest. And if you find that you're getting distracted by thoughts, then take your awareness to a part of the body that feels very good, very relaxed and open, and stay there for a short while. And we're going to stay lying like this for a few minutes longer. So if you've trailed off, come back to the feeling of resting. And for the last few moments, notice how you can let everything go. The whole body can release tension, especially through the hips and the belly and the shoulders and the face. And you bathe in awareness and comfort. Now, if you have an extra 5 minutes or 10 minutes, then my advice would be to stay here. Otherwise, if you feel like you need to get up and get on with the day, then it's Start to wriggle the fingers and wriggle the toes. Roll through your wrists and through your ankles and take a really big stretch, arms up overhead, legs out long. Or give the knees a hug into the chest. Very slowly we'll meet in a comfortable seated position on the mat. And with your eyes closed, just noticing how aware you are of your own body, of your breath and of your surroundings. Bring the hands together in front of the chest. Namaste.